Hello, Simon Gawesworth from RIO Products and Farbank Enterprises. A beautiful river Spey in the Gordon Castle water at Lower Braybeat. And I'm here to talk to you about a magnificent new line we have at RIO for the salmon and steelhead angler, and that is the Elite Gamechanger Body. It's a shooting head for the salmon angler, steelhead angler, two-handed rod angler, generally speaking. And what that means is it needs a running line on the back end and some kind of tip on the front end. It's designed to cast big flies, little flies, heavy tips, skinny tips, tapered tips. It's a multi-use, multi-depth control delivery system for your anadromous angling. And this is kind of what it looks like. It replaces what we used to have, which was a Skagit Max Gamechanger. And the first thing it differs from is there's no word Skagit in it. A Skagit head is a head designed to cast big flies and heavy, level sinking tips. And it does them really well, but it doesn't really give much of the way of presentation. So this is an upgrade on those Skagit style heads. They have much more refined tapers. They turn over slower, give you a better presentation. You can put on those Skagit type tips, but really the taper sophistication and design change is because of these tapered replacement tips. If you're not a Skagit angler and you fish more of a Scandi style and you want more of those presentation type lines and you're fishing smaller flies, you really don't want an aggressive line like that old line. So this one will take these tapered tips. You get beautiful presentation. You'll be able to do your airborne anchor casts as well as your waterborne anchor casts. So a much more rounded head, and that's great. And a couple of things to know about them. One, they all have a bright orange back section. That's really important. So when you cast your line out and it's swinging in the water, you can track the swing. That bright orange section helps you see the line swinging. And when you're stripping your line in and you're pulling it closer and closer, that orange section tells you where to stop. That's a really good tip. And where that particularly pays off in dividends is this line has two distinctly different types of density from our old Gamechanger. Full sinking. All our old Gamechangers had a floating back end. And while that was good to track and pick up and swing, the floating back end held the heads up. So there are additional full sinking versions. One has an intermediate back end, like this, slow sinking back end, and then goes to a sink 3 front end. And one has a sink 7 front end and a sink 3 back end. So it really gets down. Very good for dredging. But again, with this orange section, when you're stripping that line in, that orange section shows you exactly where to stop stripping and start making the cast. So that is the density changes. There's a slight taper change, as I mentioned, and that's because it helps cast these replacement tips and these taper tips. And again, as I said, there are shooting heads, so you've got to put them onto your shooting line. You need a real setup with some kind of shooting line with a nice large loop on here, and you're going to loop the back on, and then loop the tip on of your choice. And it will take, as I said, both the tapered tips and your Skagit tips. These are available in 7 weights, right through 11 weights, in multiple density options, just to cover every single situation you're ever likely to come across. So if you want more information about these, just check out the Guide Fly Fishing website at guideflyfishing.co.uk, and you get all the information you need from there.